Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. Do not forget to subscribe. Now, our wonderful UK summer is coming to an end. Boo! What does that mean, guys? Well, it means really that detailing becomes less enjoyable when it's freezing cold, and the best way is to get all of your protection laid out to get you through the winter, and that's what we're going to discuss in this video. Okay, welcome back to the channel, guys. Great to see you. So, wintertime protection. In this video, we're talking about the wintertime protection set from Soft99. First of all, it consists of two products, perhaps the most flagship and iconic products in the Soft99 range. The first one being the Fuso Coat, which is like a 12-month wax or sealant in a tin that you can apply to your car. And it uses fluoropolymer technology, the Fuso technology, which is very hydrophobic, so your car will shed water, but also helps with dirt repellency and stuff like that. But the main difference with this product and perhaps other more organic style waxes with oil mixed in them is really how long it lasts on the car. It's one of the most durable kind of paste wax protections that you can put on your car that's about as close as you can get to a ceramic coating in a more easy to apply, consumer focused type product. So that's the Fuso Coat, 12 months. The other product we're talking about is the Glaco Ultra, which also uses the same Fuso fluoropolymer technology, which is very repellent, but this is a windscreen sealant. So it's primarily there to put on your glass and your front windscreen, and it's going to help you with water repellency, visibility, safety, which is more of an issue in the cold autumn and winter months. It's also going to help if you get frost on there to defrost and stop the frost settling on the glass as well. So there's some benefits to this. That's the main reason why you protect your glass, improve visibility and safety throughout winter. Why do you protect your paintwork? Primarily, you do it to stop contamination getting to your paintwork. So anything that falls on your car, fallout, tar and glue, adhesives, if there's no protection on there, they can tend to bed into the paintwork and then be more difficult to remove. If you've got a layer of wax or sealant on your car, it can't sort of anchor in so much. And if you maintain your car regularly, you get less contamination build up if you keep it polished and waxed. Essentially, that's the name of the game. So now we know what this stuff is, we really need to talk about how you go about applying it to get the most out of it. Because as always, prep is very, very important. Before you apply the Fuso Coat, it's really important, therefore, that you remove any contamination from your vehicle. And that applies, the more contaminated your vehicle is, the less benefit there is to protecting it, because it's reducing contamination build-up. So if it's already there, you get the idea. So the first thing you should be doing, if required, is clay barring your car. Now, Soft99 have two clays, and it's really the smooth egg clay that you perhaps want to use. It's going to be more suitable for most normal types of contamination. How do you know if your vehicle is contaminated? And how often should you decontaminate your vehicle? Well, after you've washed and dried the vehicle, feel the paintwork. Feel it for little bumps, which are usually bits of tar. Feel it for dryness and roughness. If it feels like sort of like sandpaper after you've washed it, then it's probably got a lot of fallout in the paint. Use a fallout remover, and if it lights up and reacts on the paintwork, you're getting a reaction to the ferrous material that's embedded in your paintwork. If it doesn't react, then there's less likely to be ferrous material there. The bumps you feel are often little tar and glue and bits of sap. If you clay bar a little section of your car, perhaps behind the front wheels on the lower section, and your clay bar pass, you've got bits coming off in the clay and like a tarry brown colour on there, then typically you're going to need to go ahead and clay bar it. If you wash your vehicle and the paintwork feels really nice and smooth and it looks really glossy, there's no roughness, none of the things I've just described, then your paintwork's in good condition and you could probably just go ahead and wax your car. Okay, so step one, decontaminate How often? As required if contamination is there. Step 2, polishing your car. How often should I polish my car and when should I polish my car, John? Well, a bit like contamination, you clay bar to remove it if it's there. If it's not there, you're wasting your time. Polishing, you are basically removing swirls and hazing and oxidisation from the paintwork. So again, if your paintwork isn't popping and really glossy and kind of wet looking, then a good polish, either by machine or by hand, can bring up that wet look and that shine. And then once you've decontaminated and sorted out your paint so it's all shiny and popping, that's the ideal time to then put the protection down. And once you've done that, you should wash it nice and carefully, not heavy-handed, a good safe wash process to try and keep it like that for as long as possible, so you don't have to constantly clay and polish your car. Now, the easiest way to polish your car, if you don't have 500 machine polishers like I do, is use a product like this from Soft99. I'll link it in the description. Works. You can use this on machine, but it works fine with the little applicator that comes with it. You just put some of the polish down on the applicator and work it in circles. And just scrub the surface. Yes, you're not going to do major paint correction by hand, ideally. So that's really for the guys that have got good paint and just want to give it a little sort of hand polish. If you're into machine polishing, then Soft99 do have the range of cutting compounds, medium polishes, and ultra-fine finishing polishes, which you could use on machine application, which we'll cover. And we'll cover these. I haven't actually used them yet, so we'll cover them in the video at some point on the channel. So that's for the more involved kind of user, but you get great results with machine polishing. After you've machined polished and given the car a panel wipe to remove any of the kind of polish residue, you know, and oils and stuff like that, you're ready to apply your Fuso wax. So now we're ready to apply it to our clean and shiny and decontaminated car, guys. There is one pitfall you want to avoid when you're using Fuso coat. Do not use tons and tons and tons of wax. It's not going to help you. You buff off 99.9% of the wax and you're really leaving the bit that's kind of dried and stuck to the paint. If you put loads of it on, it's just going to be a lot harder to remove, and it's going to be harder for that thick layer to actually cure at the bottom, which is the bit that you actually want to cure because it's got a big coat of wax on it. So how do we put less on to the panels? Well, the first tip that Soft99 says, take your applicator and just get it wet and then wring out the majority of the water so there's just a dampness to it. Put that in your tin of wax. Just do a few turns so you've got a good coat of wax all over the surface. You can give it a little prime on your panel just so that you've got all of that coverage. If you've got any dry bits on there, you can just put that back in the tin, but don't pick up loads. Then put it on in cross hatches, okay? It's quite a slidey, oily wax, especially this new version now, and it spreads well. And if you put it in cross hatch, you'll put less on. Once you've covered a section, and what is a section? Well, I'd say a good starting section would be like a wing, would be quarter of a bonnet, maybe half if you're feeling brave, half of your roof, a door panel, etc. Cover that section, allow it about 5 to 8 minutes, depending on the temperature, to sort of cure off, and you'll see a haze. You want that to dry. Once that haze has happened, then you take a clean microfiber towel and you just gently buff the Fuso wax off. Always make sure you go around the edge of the panel as well, and then just gentle little circles till you've got a really shiny finish. Thin layer is the key. The more you put on, it's wasted if you put big thick layers on, especially if you're spreading it out and you see like all the trailing of the wax. You've definitely put too much on, guys. So if you do that, you can work it a little bit over a larger section to thin it kind of down. That's the top tip. I also like to, after I've applied Fuso wax, not really do anything to the car for like overnight. You know, don't wash it. I can't think of any reason why you'd wax your car and then wash it again, but just leave the wax on the surface overnight, and then that next day the car is absolutely fine to drive. You could wax it, buff it, wait an hour and use the car, but ideally all of these products, sealants and waxes, carry on curing a little bit after you've kind of buffed them up to full cure. So I like to apply them and then leave them overnight, and then I'll use the car the next day. That will maximise the amount of durability. John, can I put 2 coats of Fuso wax down? You can, but I think whenever you put 2 coats of the same product down, there can be some benefits, but I think you're getting into the point of diminishing returns. So if you enjoy waxing the car and you really want to max out the durability, you could put 2 coats, but I always tend to do 1 with Fuso coat. And I'll tell you about, if you're going to layer it, a top tip later on, but that's essentially how we go about applying this product. So next up, Glaco Ultra glass sealant. This is perhaps the most durable and one of the most hydrophobic glass sealants I've ever encountered, and it comes in a really handy applicator that means you don't get product all over you and you don't have to use other applicator pads. Everything is here. All you need is this essentially, and some microfiber towels later on to buff the windscreen. Now, prep is absolutely critical with glass sealants, even more so than paintwork, because if you apply a glass sealant wrong, you see it, because you're looking through there, and when the light hits it certain ways, if you misapply it, miss bits, put too much on, don't buff it properly, that's when you can run into problems. So just consider when you're applying these to do your prep properly. What do I mean by doing prep properly? It means going back to bare glass, and that is removing any films of dried screen wash and detergent, or any previous glass coatings you might have, the remnants of those glass coatings, or indeed any kind of spray and rinse products that you've sprayed over the entire car that are kind of stuck to the glass as well. They need to all be removed, or this product won't be able to bond and you won't get its full durability, and it might not look as good as it can. So there's a really important product in the Soft99 range, which is fantastic, and it's called Glaco Compound. Now this is a water miscible glass polish that's primarily designed to be used by hand with no machine. This is the machine that comes with it. So you take the lid off, you have to wash your car first, dry the car, and then you go in and use this, and you just basically squeeze it and work it on a section in circles. And what you'll see is the liquid that comes out, if there's glass sealant on there, it will bead a little bit and won't stick to the glass. And as you work it, you start to feel it bite, and the abrasion kind of kick in. And when it does that, you just keep going and you'll see the hydrophobicity disappear, and it will kind of start settling on the glass. At that point, you've rubbed off everything that's there. You just need to keep working along. I work half a windscreen at a time. Just keep going. You can, if you want to go right the way up to the edges, tape up, just because this is a polish and it avoids getting kind of the polish in your rubbers. Once you've done that and you've worked it, what I like to do, you can just rinse it straight off, but if you've cleaned and dried your car, you're going to be then getting it all wet again. So I like to use a wet cloth and just wash the majority of it off with a wet cloth, and then go again till I've got it all off, and then a little bit of clean water over that glass. And then you can, before you put the product down, just give it a little wipe over with a panel wipe or some IPA and water to get your glass squeaky clean. You are then ready to apply. And this is essentially quite easy, guys. Just give this a little shake. Always shake your products. Take the lid off, put it down onto your windscreen, give it a squirt until you actually see the liquid coming through the felt pad, and then just work it in cross hatches. Now you can start horizontal first. I always think it's a good idea to finish your last pass when you're applying this in vertical passes, because that's the least kind of visible. If you apply these in circles, and that's your final kind of pass is circles, when they then dry, sometimes when you're looking through them, you can see little swirly films. So up and down is perhaps the best way to do it from a visibility point of view. Try not to get any gaps or areas where you miss. The edge of your glass, you tend to have those black bits, you know, the black glass that you don't look through. It's up to you if you want to seal over those. In a way, it's a good idea, but you know, you need to make sure if you're going to seal that glass, you need to prep it all. So that comes down to you, but the visibility benefits are obviously on the bits that you look through. So apply this in crosshatch, leave it on that glass for about 5 to 10 minutes, and you will see it haze up. Once it's hazed and it's cured, give it a wipe over with a damp cloth, and that will get 99% of it off of the panel. I do also like to take a completely clean dry cloth once I've done that wet wipe and just give it a light wipe over with a dry cloth till I get the finish that I like. At that point, I leave the product alone for 12 hours overnight to fully cure off. I avoid getting it wet and looking at the hydrophobic performance, which is tempting. Wait 12 hours and then the product is fully cured and it should be on your glass for up to 12 months. The most important factor that wears these down is how often you've got the windscreen on, because the abrasion of the windscreen wiper is really the thing that's going to kind of remove these. You often see when these get towards the end of their durability claims, the area where the wiper blades wipe is the bit that's removed, and the area around those where the wiper blade hasn't been, the product's like brand new. So it's really that abrasion that is going to take it off over time. Now, if you want to help the product and keep it topped up, Soft99 have a cleaner called Duglaco or Glaco de Cleaner, which is this thing here. And you basically just use this like a glass cleaner. After you've washed your car, you can spray it over the front windscreen and just wipe it off with a kind of microfiber cloth. Follow the instructions and it will top up the protection. No, it's not as strong as this. Think of this as the baseline sealant and this almost like the detail spray cleaner for your glass. But it's a good way of maintaining the hydrophobicity, again, for those of you that like that on application performance all the time. And finally, guys, if we want to top up our protection 3 to 6 months down the line, so we've got that on application zing and hydrophobicity, could we just apply the Fuso again? You could do. That would be the cheapest option, wouldn't it? But it's quite a lot of work putting a paste wax all over the car. So there are some quicker options. The most popular one is the Fuso Speed and Barrier, which uses the same technology. Because it's water-based, it makes a great topper for Fuso. So you can just spray this on each panel, spread it, wipe it, buff it to a shine, and then you get a top-up of hydrophobicity with a like-for-like protection, sometimes referred to as Fuso Boost, but Speed and Barrier is the name of the product. We've covered it before on the channel. If you are a waxing fanatic, though, and you want to put a topper wax on, I've been through every single wax in the Soft99 range, and there's a lot of them. Fuso for me is the best durable baseline kind of sealant type wax that they've got in their line. But this Mirror Shine makes a really, really good topper if you just want to boost the gloss and boost the beading a little bit. Lasts up to 3 months, so it's not as durable as Fuso. But this product requires 0 cure, so you can just spread it out over a panel and buff it to a shine immediately. So it's a little bit more rapid to apply for the guys that like waxes. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Perhaps the 2 most iconic products in the Soft99 range available in a kit, the Protection Time kit. I'll put a link in the description where you can get this from, and there's also a link to their distribution partners all around the world. So if you're in different geographies, you can find a Soft99 distributor. I hope some of the other stuff and the accompanying products that we've talked about and the preparation products that we've talked about has been useful as well, because as always, guys, prep is very important to getting the most out of these, as well as following the instructions. And then after that, maintenance can help you get the absolute maximum durability and maintain the on-application performance. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon on the Forensics Detailing channel. Bye for now.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I?